Dr. Suma, your question is, can human life be prolonged? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right? Is there a natural way, or the creator, God, can prolong human life?
Yeah, through prayers or
Yeah, whatever, through prayers or whatever means.
yes.
Okay. So now this life itself, what we call as human life itself, is boundaries are very blurred. It is not, see, you being a doctor, you look at life in some way. The life has to be looked in much more deeper, better, bigger canvas. Okay. There are attempts to preserve human life in various ways. Human life, or as human, whatever you know as. Typically, when we say a life, a person is said, medically, a person is declared dead the moment his the moment his brain functioning stops.
Yes.
So the brain functioning can continue when the brain functioning continues also, brain stops, heart may continue. I have heard that heart will function, heart can function almost some 7-8 hours also, right? So the brain function dead, the person is declared as dead and his organs are harvested. Okay. There are attempts in medical field. A person who has died, let's say a young age person has died, his brain is dead. The body can be preserved through cryogenic or deep freezing, in hoping that one day, if his body organs are preserved, one day some treatment will be found and he will be revived. This is called what is called cryogenic life. Okay, this is one way of looking at life. We don't know whether that day will come when the revival will happen, but the attempts are there. There are many people who book for that cryogenic life. Instead of cremation, they get into the chambers where the body is preserved for lifelong, many years, maybe for 500 years, 200 years, I don't know. So that's one way of looking at life. Okay. So then other way of looking at life is, as we become old, our body parts will start failing because they become old, they will lose that vitality. And then when the vitality is lost, the next 5-10 years, we'll have a lot of mechanical parts, spare parts, electronic parts will get into the body. For example, my liver is not functioning, I'll have a sort of a semi-automatic liver or whatever is that. Today, we have to have a pacemaker for the heart. So many organs of the body will be replaced by mechanical or electronic parts, right? Which means human beings progressively become a sort of cyborg, which is half human, half electronics. Cyborg. So far what we know as human being is a biological life form.
Yes.
It will become a semi-biological and electronic life form in the days to come, maybe in our lifetime, in 10-20 years. Correct? So that's another way. One is cryogenic life form, another is electronic life form or a cyborg. Third is artificial intelligence life form. There's another way of looking at life. What happening is that there is a project which is going on in the world. It's called, I think it's 2035 project, where the human, whatever we call as human being, can it become program in the computer system? So it can be a program in computer system. For example, let's say I have a glass, when spectacles which I use will record every moment every activity which I am doing, and my speech is recorded, my whatever I am hearing is recorded, and everything is recorded in the computer system, what we call typically as a cloud. Your entire learning of life is available in the cloud. Whatever you speak, whatever you do, all those things. Of course, your emotions will not be reflected, okay, but whatever activity you do will be reflected. Now, there are artificial intelligence programs which will learn this, and they will take up the role of you, or the role of a human being who is there. When the biological life form ends, it becomes an electronic life form or computer-based life form. Okay, so now that computer-based life form will have a life of continued life. Suppose you are a doctor, or suppose a surgeon is there. His learning will not go waste. That learning will continue. The artificial intelligence program will continue to learn and develop. It will have creativity. It will interact with other doctors. In fact, the programs will advance to such an extent that you will not know who is human being and who is a machine. And that is not, I'm not speaking of another 100 years frame. I'm speaking of next 10 years I'm speaking of. Okay. So a boundary between who is a human being and who is a computer program will be very blurred in that sense. It's going to be blurred in next 10 years. Okay. So now this program is not just a program. It can work through a robot. It can work through a robot. Let's say a surgeon is there. The program learns whatever surgeon has done in his lifetime, and it will operate a robot. Probably, let us say surgeon is a very good neurosurgeon. The robot will do neurosurgery, and it will continue to learn what doctor is. Let's say doctor lives for 200 years. In 200 years, whatever you have learned, you have learned. This machine will learn, continue to learn and evolve. So from biological life, you have gone into a electronic life form.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, not only that, it will not only learn this thing. Okay, it'll actually also it also will have the ability to travel, in the sense the holographic image of you, holographic image of the person who has died. The computer will be able to interact with the holographic image. Okay, it'll exactly, you will not know whether you are interacting with a real person or a holographic image. You will not know. Okay. Then what about emotions? Right? Emotions and feelings, it will be computer will be able to simulate. We will not be able to know what is human emotion or what is a computer emotion. The boundary of emotional states also is getting blurred between the machine and the human being. Okay. Now that is when the boundary gets blurred, right? We will live in a world where we don't know where we are interacting with a human being or a machine or a computer program or a cyborg, and that we will see in our lifetime. In your lifetime and my lifetime, we'll see next 10 to 30 years. The technology is matured to that level. Okay. So now the artificial intelligence program will ensure that whatever you are learning, the learning will continue to happen. Your relationship are maintained, and the maturity is attained, as if the person is biological life form is continue to live. All right. So now I told you three things. One is cryogenic life form, where you are preserving the life and trying to revive it after many years. Then is a cyborg, where human being is becoming partly human and partly robot. Okay. In next 10-15 years, I am seeing the liver will be an artificial liver, electronic liver. Okay. A kidney will be probably electronic. Instead of dialysis being done outside, it will be a machine which will be doing inside. Okay. In that way, life will be prolonged. Then finally, your memories, your data, your information, your learning, all those things will be preserved in the what you call as cloud-based life form. Okay. So these are the three ways technology is advancing. Now there are yogis who have prolonged their life for 2,000 years, 3,000 years. I don't know whether you have heard of one yogi called Babaji.
I heard of that.
Okay, Babaji is believed to have been living for 2,000 years. Okay, 2,000 years plus. Okay, there are Siddha yogis who are able to prolong the life through medicine and yogic practices for 200 years to 250 years more than normal human being. Okay. Now what they do essentially, the yogis, what they do is they will have a lifestyle which is very, very suitable for prolonging life. Our lifestyle today is where we are having a wear and tear, right? The body wear and tear is there because of stress and because of food items what we use. Through right type of food items, right type of lifestyle, right type of medicine, they are able to minimize the wear and tear for the body, and the body will be prolonged. Okay.
Yes.
Right. And also there is a specific way of breathing practice. What happens is that in nature, all of us have been given a certain amount of prana, life force, to live. You can think it's a energy storage. A flower is born and will die. When the energy which is given to the flower will be gone. Like from birth to death, there is an energy supply. That energy supply is called prana. all flowers, animals, living beings, all those utilize that energy supply. And when energy gets exhausted, they die. Okay. Same way, human being also have an energy supply, a specific amount of energy supply. That energy supply, what we have, is called prana. It comes from the universe, God, creator, whatever you call. Now that supply is limited in the sense it is for a certain duration. Okay. So now let us say your lifetime is 70 years. For 70 years, whatever the energy supply is required, that storage is given to you. Okay. Understand? Now the question is whether that energy supply, whether the energy supply what you are given, okay, can you prolong it? Naturally, you can prolong it if you are conservative enough. Right? If you are conservative enough, what you can consume for 1 week, you can consume it for 2 weeks or 10 weeks. Right? Provided you know how to minimize the energy consumption. So that's what these yogis do typically. They know the mechanism of how to conserve energy and prolong life. Okay, I mean, to give a simple example, in hibernation, when animal goes into hibernation, like the snow bears in Alaska, they go into hibernation. Some type of frogs and all, where their metabolic rate is reduced drastically, and the life gets prolonged. Right? So that's one way. The yogis have adopted some of the techniques of hibernation, and they are able to preserve energy and prolong life. Okay, that's how you are here of this yogis who live for 250 years, 300 years, all those things. Okay. Now, the energy supply which is given to you is limited, but your usage is, the way you are using it, you are prolonging it.
Yes.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, so that's another way, yogic way. Correct?
Yes.
Now, these are I have told you medical dimension, I have to do technology dimension, I have brought up robotic issue and yogic way. Right? These are the different ways of life can be prolonged. But yogic way also, the energy supply is same. But because you go into hibernation or samadhi for longer duration, you are consuming less energy and you are prolonging life. Right?
Yes.
Understand? Now, in this context, what is your question? Now you can reframe the question. Now your life form, as we know as a biological life form, will get transformed. Right? The death is not same as biological death, what we thought. Now, what is your question about death and prolonging life in the context? It is a broader canvas.
Yeah. What I meant was, like how you explained, there is a limited source of energy that all of us are born with, which gets used up on a daily basis and finally gets leave body. So a person who is like got some kind of a disease or something, and he is bound to, or the doctors have told him that he's going to die. That's an example. So I was curious to know if praying to the Creator to prolong, it could be anybody, son or a husband or a father or a mother, whatever, to prolong their life or energy for more number of years. Will this prayer will the Creator answer to this? And
see, okay, your question is if somebody is diagnosed with a critical disease.
Yeah.
Okay, now for that critical disease, let us say we do the prayer. And once you do the prayer, with the prayer, can the life be prolonged? So now you are bringing the prayer aspect of what you call as can the prayer prolong life?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Now the answer for each is yes and no. The Creator or consciousness or universal consciousness all unlimited powers. Right?
Yes.
The power is infinite because you can see the creation. So vast universe with so much of complexity and power is there. Right? So now for that, with that power, for anything is not complex. Even prolonging life or taking life or giving life is not a problem.
Right.
Question is, will it do it? Right? Why it will do it? Tell me. Okay, it's like there's a total order in the universe. Okay, now why will violate an order for an individual? Right? It's like a government is working for the country. Now, an individual wants a specific benefit. So now, will the government bend the laws for a specific individual? Will it do that? Forget about the universe. Will the government will the government will do, or you do? Will you do? Let's say you are a doctor and you have this thing. So will you bend your rules and ethics for a specific individual? No. Right? So what will happen is universe has its own mechanism of working as a universal law. Right? And if universal law is bent somewhere, it has implication in the rest of the universe. Right? A whole universe is working with a law and order. A order, which is fantastic. That order will not be violated or bent for a specific individual. Even though there is an ability to do that. Okay, that's one answer is why it's possible, because universe has the ability, God has the ability, Creator has the ability. The ability is not in question. Whether the willingness to apply that ability for individual is the question. Correct? Why would a universal being intervene in the life of an individual, violating the total universal law? Correct? Unless the individual is very exceptional. Correct? Unless the individual is very exceptional. Correct? Why individual is exceptional? An individual is exceptional because that individual lifelong prolonging the life of an individual will have a beneficial effect on the universe. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's why there are 7 so-called Chiranjeevis. In India, remember 7 Chiranjeevis. Ashwattama, Balivyaso, Hanumansha, Vibhishana, Krapa, Parashuramashcha, Saptaite Chiranjeevina. Ashwattama, Bali, Vyasa, Hanuma, Krapa, Parashurama. These are considered as Chiranjeevi. That means they'll live till the universe is destroyed. Okay, they are living there because they are coming with the exceptional ability which has some impact on the universe. They are not living because of individual ability. They are there for as a part of the universal functioning, not as an individual. Okay, so why will the universe focus on a specific individual unless it has a universal implication? Right? The answer is no. Okay, then what is the value of the prayer? Correct? The value of the prayer is there are many things which are there critical, okay, where see the doctors are trying to save a person. Okay, so now doctor's effort or individual effort is limited. We are invoking the grace to show us something which human mind cannot comprehend. Okay, for example, I'm just giving an example. Okay, there's a disease. For a disease, some treatment is required. Doctors have come to a dead end. I can't do anything more. The prayer is to seek, is there something more I can do? Show me the path for doing something more, which I am not able to understand. Okay, seeking, it's not that the intervention will happen. The person's life is not ended because of karmic reason. It is not this energy store is not ended. The life is still there. Let's say a person has an allotted lifetime in the universe is 70 years. Okay, so at the age of 55, he got a disease. Now, for the disease, the doctors have tried something, and doctors have given up. Now the prayer is to the universe, please show us the way, guide us so that life can be prolonged. It's not life prolongation, his life quota is not over. But our efforts are not complete because we know only this much. So we are seeking guidance to prolong life because allotted life quota is not over. You understand what I'm saying? So it is not prolonging life. We are seeking guidance to help him complete existing life. Right? It is not that somebody has a lifetime of 70, his life is more 140 years. No. That 140 years or 200 or 2000 years can be made only if the individual is exceptional from the universal point of view, not as a specific individual. I give the example of Babaji, I give the Ashwatthama, Balirvyasa, Hanumansha, all those people. They are very exceptional. Okay. So, do you get the answer?
Yes.
So, when human efforts are limited, we are seek divine guidance to show us something which you have not done. Can I do it? Rather than it's not a prolonging life. It is our effort is this much. It's like a doctor consulting another doctor. Please tell me what else I can do. So instead of consulting another doctor, we have our consultation over. Now we are consulting universal consciousness, God. Show us something which I can do. That's not prolonging life. That's actually giving a remedy in the given situation. That's where the prayer comes into picture. Okay. So does it answer your question?
Yes.
Right? See, universe of consisting of billions of stars, trillions of galaxies, trillions of life forms. Why will it change a law for a specific individual? Forget about the universe. Will you do it? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, but if you are exceptional, universe will definitely bend the rules, because the universal has the individual has a value to the universe, whatever value, which we don't know, but the universe will know. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
So now that answers your question. Then I will bring one more dimension. So what is the value of a prolonging life? You please tell me. Let's say tomorrow we are able to live for 1,000 years or 10,000 years. What is the value of that?
Why would you do something to the universe? I don't think there's any value.
There is no value for that. Okay, because see, now you look at our life, right? We are 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. Already we are burnt out. In the sense, what is of interest to us will no longer interest us. A time will come, the boredom will overtake us. There's nothing to do. Okay? The exhaustion will come in terms of learning, experiencing. Exhaustion will come. Then prolonging the life will become a burden rather than a boon. You understand? I know my grandmother, okay, who lived for 102 years. Okay? She was praying for death since the age of 70. She has nothing to do. She says, why do I live? It's not that she's cynic. Her children have grown up. They have grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Okay? Life is prolonging. You have nothing to do. So what will you do with a life which is where you are not able to do anything meaningful? The whole meaning will go out of life. Right? So prolonging life is not a gift. Actually, it's a curse. Okay? So that's where it's not about duration of life. Okay? Earlier people used to give a blessing. I don't know whether you know about blessing, right? Shatayur Bhava. Live for 100 years. Okay? That doesn't mean that you live for 100 years till you become old, you are invalid. No. The Shatayur Bhava means you live 100% of your life every day.
Okay.
Understand? See, your question will not come today. If you are able to live 100% today, you are filled with that 100%ness. Then you say, nothing pending for me. No, life is not relevant for me. That 100% life is actually living fully, not living for 100 years, 1,000 years. Now, how can I live for 100 years, 100% of my life? That is the challenge. And that is called spiritual journey or enlightenment. In enlightenment, what will happen is, we are all living beings called creatures. Right? Living beings are called a creature. Because that presupposes there's a creator. Creator is different from the creature. The creature has not much of choice. It has to go through a lifestyle in a programmed way. Biological programming, social conditioning, all those things. But as a human being, we have an ability to break through this programming. get out of this programming and recognize and realize the creator. The creator is in us as a consciousness. Creator is not living separately, is not a separate entity. Creator is there, all pervading, inside and outside. But we are not able to recognize, no other human form is able to, no other animal form is able to recognize. Only an evolved human being is able to recognize that creator, okay, in and out. Okay, once he recognizes the creator in and out, his life is he has reached the peak of his life. Okay, he has fulfilled his life. He has gone back to the source. Okay, that going back to the source is called enlightenment or liberation or moksha. That possibility opens up only in human life. No other life form it is possible. Because of our evolved body-mind complex plus intellect. And that helps to break through this, what we call as the creator-creature duality. A creature can find the creator, and finding the creator is called immortality. Okay, you recognize your immortal nature because in essence you are a creator. You are not separate from the creator. But we are feeling a separation from the creator. That's why we long for a longer life. Okay, once you understand you are one with the creator, which you are an eternal entity, not finite lifetime. You are infinite life. You are infinite. Then your desire for a finite life form as a biological being is gone. Okay, when you attain the infinite, why there is need for finite? Okay, when you are able to drink nectar, why are you bothered about milk? Why are you bothered about alcohol? So the nectar of immortality can be achieved in human life through Atmajnana or self-realization. Okay, of course, the point is it is only not everybody can do it. It's only few people, selected people, or few people who are evolved enough they can do it. Right? Now, we are not speaking of prolonging life. We are speaking of eternal life. Okay, eternal life, can it be attained? Yes, it can be attained. That is through Atmajnana or Jivan Mukti. So you have heard elixir of life, right? Have you heard of something called elixir of life? Elixir of life is in Middle Ages, people kept on searching for a drink which will make human being immortal, eternal. That search for that elixir of life started. The quest for the elixir of life led to chemistry, physics discoveries. Okay, they thought that some compound, some chemical will make human life prolonged, make it immortal. And that search led to development in science, physics and chemistry. If you can look at the elixir of life, you will understand that. The elixir of life was never found. Instead of elixir of life, they found the physics, chemistry and the sciences. Science got developed. Okay. The what you call as material life got developed. Material form got developed. But that elixir of life in India, we understood that elixir of life cannot be found in matter. It has to be found in consciousness. That's where in search in India went on for self-realization, realizing oneness with God. That oneness with God is called Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. I am one with universal consciousness. I am universal creator. That if you get it, your life is complete. Then you don't even bother whether I live for next 1 minute. Possibly you live as a biological life form, but that becomes irrelevant. That's where the great beings like Shankaracharya, Vivekananda, they lived for very short time, less than 40 years. But their life was full and complete. So fullness and completeness of life is not determined by how long you live biologically. Yes. What you do with that life, even 1 year of life, what you do, that is full life. Yes. Now in this context, what is your question about prolonging life?
No, I was just curious. Is it like when we are born, this energy, what have you explained? I didn't know that concept, that it gets over as we pass along. That's the science behind.
Yeah.
I was curious to know it. So
yeah, that energy when you are born, some amount of energy is given to us. Okay. That energy supply is limited. And that energy supply is given to fulfill your prarabdha karma. Whatever is there in your life form, you have to experience that is given. Now, you can use it conservatively. You can go into hibernation or samadhi. So then supply of energy, the consumption of energy will come down.
Yes.
But total what is available to you is same.
Total availability. Sure, sir. Yes.
And of course, there are other yogic philosophies where they say certain yogic practices can transform your body into eternal body. Okay, there's a transmutation of the body. From a carbon-based life form, you can become a what we call as a light life form, light-based or energy-based life form. So there's not a preserving the body in the physical form. Body gets transformed into some other form. Okay, there are some case histories mentioned, like Babaji or Yogi. He is considered his body has transformed from a material nature to a energy body. Okay, they are all rare cases. Okay, the question is not what I do with the prolonging the life. What I do with the life what I have is the question. So does it answer your question?
Yes, totally.
Any other question?
Not really, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. So why did this question come to you? That's the interesting question.